hydrangea, tough stuff. Aha, this is a new one. We talked about it earlier this year. Uh, Anything in the tough stuff series is a serrata, which is a mountain hydrangea, is a common name. Uh, Both the serrata and macrophylla are native to Japan. Macrophylla typically are found on the coast and low-lying areas, where the serratas are typically found up in the mountains. This would also mean that they're a little bit more, they like a cooler weather per se than what the Macs do. The other thing with them being up in a higher altitudes, they've got a lot better bud hardiness. So that was one of the things that we looked at with them. This one is one of the newer ones that is a PW plant that they came out with. They're really good as far as rebloom. These plants were canned earlier this year. You can see they're loaded with flower. And the other thing with this one is, and we did fairly well with it last year as far as changing it to blue. So it can be blue or pink depending upon the pH of the soil. Bloomerang, actually this data that's up here is from back in whenever we did it earlier in the year. We just copied it over. The big thing with the bloomerang right now is you can see they're all starting to flower. So this is another one similar to what we were talking about last week. There's still plenty of things to pick from with flower. Bloomerang's doing an excellent job as far as reblooming. You can see it in the house. Typically, from when we trim them to when they bloom, is probably around 8 to 10 weeks. So these were trimmed back 1st of July, mid-July. Remember, with bloomerangs, they do need well drained. They do not like being in a wet environment. They're extremely hardy, zone 3 to zone 7, and they rebloom 2 to 3 times a year, depending upon soil and moisture conditions. Buddleia Pink Cascades. This is a picture from Walters. This is one of their selections. They have a series out, a Cascade series. The big difference between this and your standard Buddleia, most of the standard Buddleia are tall and very upright. As you see, this is more of a cascading, drooping plant. I won't classify it as weeping. It will get up to 5 to 6 foot tall and about the same width. Flower lengths on these, you can see these are probably going to be in the 8 to 10, 10 to 12 inch range. They're really long as far as the flowers go. They really put on a big display. Currently, there's 3 selections in the series. There's pink and grand and lavender. We only have the pink and the grand. The grand will be available next spring as well. Really nice plant, though. We'll put the salvias in, Maynite and Sensation Sky Blue, East Friesland. These are all new for, as far as production-wise, they're the newer production plants. They're just starting to come into flower. This is also what you have available for next spring. Remember with salvia, like a lot of your perennials, they do not like wet conditions over the winter. Salvia is very tolerant as far as being drought tolerant, and they're also deer and rabbit resistant. You can just scroll through all 3. Sky Blue is one of the newer ones we picked up 3-4 years ago. This one, its main claim to fame is the heavy flowering, and it's also a lot smaller in stature when you compare it to Maynite and East Friesland. And East Friesland is the one that's more of a purplish blue. It's, you can see here in our picture, nice full plants, full of flowers just coming into bloom. So we've got a good shelf life on all 3 of these going into fall. We're just going to classify these basically by, you can see up top there, this is what they're going to call a deco short pot. Most of these are going to have Gaillardia, Coreopsis. There's a few salvia in there, and there's 3 different selections on these as well.
Yeah, so we, if you look at it, it's a really high impact combination. When they selected the varieties, they selected them for the cooler weather season here. You can see they're very vibrant in color. They're going to have high impact as far as picking them up, putting them on your patio right now, which is, you know, we struggle right now as far as getting flower and this sort of impact on the patio. So, you know, this would go well in the garden center. Really nice pots to that. So we have, 3 codes in it, so you're looking at the round pot here. Then there's a taller, more upright square pot, and then they're metallic, in color, so they're kind of the new trend as far as color. Then there's a shorter one, so, in that, so we got different combinations that, they could put in the garden center and offer, different things. So the shorter ones would probably lean themselves more toward like a balcony or patio type thing. And, then as you get into the larger ones, those would look, nice, just about anywhere in your landscape. So, really nice, high-impact plants, good numbers on them, and as you can see, they're ready to go. So we put the codes in. Bill will get out and put individual pictures on the web, and we'll start getting exposure on these, but they are ready to sell and ship for early part of next week.